Sup everyone, welcome to another video. Dendro. Alright, that's all I gotta say. It says the fascinating Dendro element. We're gonna watch this. Hopefully we're gonna get more information than just a raw tease. Words very difficult right now. I've been dreaming of this day for the past 3 months, and to be here to actually get to see a sneak preview of Dendro, it's unbelievable. And I don't think they're gonna give away too much, but we'll try to analyze it as we go. I haven't watched the whole thing. I watched the first 10 seconds and I was like, you know what, I gotta make a video about this. What a great opportunity to get my raw reaction. So it's in Mandarin, that's all I know, and let's get excited for this. Let's go.
草元素是原神7元素体系中的最后一块拼图，我们打算用一些更成体系的方式去设计它。在 3.0 版本，我们从一开始便邀请了所有的策划、美术和 IP 部门的同学一起讨论，希望大家可以设计出一个耦合程度更高、理解门槛更低，并且相互之间关联更加紧密的体系。草元素的设计之中，存在着3个关键词，是催化、智慧以及生命。这3个概念主要体现在元素反应、关卡设计以及场景机制当中，它们之间也有非常紧密的彼此联系。原神的元素反应，一方面是不同的元素设计语言之间的组合，那另一方面，它也是基于日常现象的艺术再加工。举例来说，在原神当中，我们玩家已经见到过的感电现象，它其实是一个符合玩家认知的日常现象。但同时，它也是水元素的恢复和雷元素的能量概念结合的产物。那在游戏当中，它也是一个能稳定的散逸能量的现象。基于类似的设计理念，我们在 3.0 版本又推出了2个新的反应：绽放和激化。绽放的灵感是来源于现实生活中花朵的绽放现象，那它同时也是水元素的恢复和草元素的催化2种概念的结合。而激化反应呢，它则是一个完全原创的效果，它来源于雷元素的能量以及草元素的另一个关键词智慧的碰撞。激化反应相关的现象呢，也和须弥当地的历史有着非常深的渊源。
3.0 版本，我们在须弥地区也新增了大量有趣的区域玩法，基于燃烧、绽放和激化3种反应特征，我们定义了一种名为多态转换的设计理念。一部分具有草元素特征的目标，通过使用水、火、雷等元素与之交互，可以让它们在不同的状态之间发生转换，从而产生不同的互动效果。在怪物的生态性上，我们也做了类似的尝试。根据自身所处的环境和受到的元素效果不同，怪物会在不同的状态间来回转换。除了攻击方式会发生变化以外，在特定的状态下击败它们，还能获得罕见的特殊材料。更多草元素相关的玩法，届时就需要玩家亲自去体验一番了。
希望草元素玩法的加入可以给玩家带来新奇而又有趣的体验。
Okay, out of respect, I tried really hard to not say anything, but there are definitely things that caught my attention, okay? So allow me to move my... sorry, apologies for not moving myself earlier, but let's keep it up here. Because there are a couple things that they did mention which piqued my interest, and I do think points to a broader sense of what we're getting ourselves into. And let's just go back to the beginning, because these are things I want to draw your attention to. When he said... here. So he said the Dendro element is the last piece of the puzzle in Genshin Impact's 7-element system. So is this Hoyoverse's way of saying, that's it, don't think about holy, dark, any of those potential new elements in the future, the wacky ones, we're keeping it at 7 and this is gonna be it, because that's canonically that's what the elements were. They already tied it all into the story, meaning starting from Natlin, Fontaine and whatnot, we're not gonna be getting any more elements. This is it, which I think it's fine. However, they didn't say that they weren't going to introduce more reactions, and we'll talk about reactions a little more because predominantly this video touched on reactions. And I want to let you guys know that a little disappointed because, well, I guess they haven't showed everything, this is just a teaser, but slightly disappointed in how likely it is that Dendro is going to be reacting with all the elements. Now also, I keep blocking the wrong places. What? Look, at the top here it says number 1. So what's the point of labeling 01 if there's not going to be a 02, 03, 04? Right? So possibly in 0203, they're going to be showing us Pyro, Cryo, Anemo, Geo, maybe, right? Throw those all into the teasers and let's see what Hoyoverse has cooked up for us when it comes to the Dendro element. However, moving on. The way that they categorized the Dendro element is that they have 3 points of focus here, and I want to get their exact words with you. The 3 categories are Catalyze, Wisdom, and Life. So they're trying to keep it real with whatever we have in the real world here, which I guess that makes sense. But when they were showcasing it a little later on, it does feel like that they want Dendro to serve more of a supportive function, because they're well, not supportive, more specifically a utility function. Think of it as a more function-focused element as opposed to a damage-oriented one, or crowd control, or buffing, debuffing. Now don't get me wrong, there could very easily be buffing effects depending on which element the Dendro element is going to be reacting with, but for the most part, from what we see here, it does seem to be a function reaction, which is pretty cool. So in here we also have Hoyoverse kind of shedding light on their original concept for each of the element, being Hydro was supposed to be a regenerative recovery element, Electro was supposed to be something to do with energy, right? So that does make things a little clearer as to why some of the elements were designed the way they were, and they also go further to say even reactions were based on the potential interactions of these 2 elements and their concept mesh together. So now going forward with Dendro, they said they also want to implement its characteristics into the reaction. So the 3 that we mentioned earlier, they're the ones that will likely be integrated into these reactions. And going forward, I hope they come up with more words to associate with Dendro, because if these are all the reactions that we're getting, that's going to be... Anyways, let's just go forward to the next point. So the next thing I want to point to is that in patch 3.0, they are adding 2 more new reactions, which likely means we're not going to even get all the reactions in one patch. That's also very interesting. Dendro might be released, but we're likely going to be getting bits and pieces of these reactions. Now, this could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. Good thing is we get time to ease ourselves into the new meta and familiarize ourselves with how it works, what it works with, and not maybe make a mistake like what we did with Bennett Shinchu, calling these things trash, garbage. I mean, who am I kidding? People are going to come out and say they're trash and garbage because they don't do insane damage, regardless. But I do think that that's going to be the biggest pro, is for us to properly integrate this into our currently existing options. And with more to come in the future, that can keep us somewhat excited going forward into 3.1, 3.2, and whatnot. The downside is people are going to complain that Hoyoverse is on purposely gating content again. They're just on purposely leaving this out to milk more patches, which both may be correct at the same time. Take whichever pill you want, all right? Red, blue, your call. But this is interesting. Furthermore, of course, we have to talk about the 2 reactions, which, as you guys see here, is going to be Bloom and Catalyze. Very conceptually based words here. They could mean anything, right? Bloom could literally be overload but better, but it could also be something else. But of course, they showed it to us in here, but they don't really tell us exactly what it means or what it does. And they only say it's inspired by the fact that flowers, plants in real life do bloom. So they decided to go with the hydro element because, you know, you water your plants and eventually they bloom. Wow, what a revelation. So I'm assuming that they said earlier hydro is meant to be this healing recovery element, and then mixed with Dendro, what do you end up getting? I don't know. Alright, it could be a buffing reaction, it could be a regenerative reaction. Are reactions now going to heal? Who knows? Nobody knows. But it's interesting that now we can see more of what they are thinking of when they design for these mechanics. Moving on to the Catalyze reactions, they say it's a completely original effect. So lightning with grass and plants don't really have much reactions. Well, I guess they do. It's called a charring effect. It just straight up kills the plants. Of course, they had to go around and think of something that's a little more creative. I see this particle on screen. Dendro kind of swirls around. I don't know if that is indication of the reaction. It's not so clear, and they don't have the text on screen to show, like, right, Catalyze or right, like they do with Overload, Swirl, and stuff like that. So honestly, your guess is as good as mine. Good to see that Electro Dendro does have a reaction. I'm really hoping that this can be something Electro units could lean towards to build powerful reaction teams outside of just Electro Charge. So now we gotta talk about the 3 total reactions that are slated to be released in 3.0, which is Burning, Bloom, and Catalyze. So Bloom and Catalyze being the new ones that they just added, and Burning already existed in the game. And I hope that the Burning is going to be fleshed out upon a little more, because right now it's just gonna be applying damage over time to your enemies. So I guess you apply your Dendro, you apply AoE Pyro, or you apply Pyro on one and it slowly spreads and the DOT applies regardless. And how does that scale? What does it scale off of? The Dendro character EM maybe increases it. The Pyro character's attack HP would increase it. I don't know. So how does that scale? Who knows? Maybe both of it scales with the EM. So you want to build EM on your Pyro, you want to build a little bit of EM on your Dendro as well. Who knows? So that's going to be interesting. 3.0, a lot for us to play around with. So also speaking of things we can test out with, depending on which kind of element you interact with these kind of plants in Sumeru, we're also going to be getting different results, and also fighting enemies depending on which elemental typing you use to fight these enemies. They also will have different forms, it looks like, and when they get killed they even drop different items. So overall, Sumeru seems to be quite the big brain region, right? The land of knowledge. So you really have to familiarize yourself with how these things work before you go in. Let's say you finish grinding an entire region worth of those mobs for some ascension materials just to realize, oh damn, I used the wrong element. That's gonna be really, really no bueno and awkward. Now you're in other people's world saying, hey, I'm sorry man, I used Hydro when I should have used Electro. That's crazy. That's crazy to think that they would design it like this. Why not just give us more mobs? Hoyoverse. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what they're thinking, but that's crazy, because if they release 2 or 3 characters and then the mobs are very limited, so now you have to go around with these element killing these mobs and getting these drops so you can level up, ascend, or whatever these new characters. Big brain stuff. All right, anyways, that's enough for me. Thank you guys for watching. What did you guys think about this? Did this get you a little excited? Are you disappointed that we didn't get all the reactions? What if these 3 are the only reactions that we'll have with Dendro? But I think that purposefully placed 01 is indicative of more to come. I'm excited for Sumeru, I'm excited for Dendro, and I hope you are too. Alright, with that said, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, stay safe, peace, bye.